Hello, 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 hello. Testing, testing, one, two, testing, testing, one, two, testing, testing, one, two. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome to The Truth. And I'm your host, Terrance Ruth, where we discuss politics, stories, and leadership. Please follow us on Choice FM. It's always glad to be with you. I'm with you today on this Wednesday. It's always a pleasure to be able to step into the studio and spend some time with you. And again, this is
Choice FM
Truth
families,
with
the
Terrence
DOC
Ruth.
on
Welcome again.
WRSV.
I
Rolling
had
through
a
this 2
wonderful
o'clock
privilege
hour. Let's go
today to
ahead and
spend
tap in
some
with good old
time with
Mother Nature. Right now, we
someone I
still got
hold
some clouds
dear.
up above, ladies and gentlemen, as
And,
we're
and
dealing
and what
with
was
some
exciting
scattered
about
showers that
this
have been in our
engagement
area for the
today
past, feels like
is
24 hours, man.
it's a historian.
Currently
I
chilling
always love
in the
history
mid
for that.
70s,
You
though, so it
learn from
feels
me that
really, really
I
good.
love history. But he was talking about a person I've never heard of before. And her name is Anna Cooper, and she was one of the first Black PhDs in the state. And if I'm wrong, I think it's in the country. And I just think her story was amazing. Her full name was Dr. Anna Julia Cooper, PhD. She's buried in Raleigh, North Carolina, but she's been all over. She lived from Frederick Douglass, where she shared the stage with him, and she died 64, right in the midst of the civil rights. And so it's just amazing how many wonderful stories we have in our history. What made her special is that she was one of the early Black feminists, and she really led some tremendous pioneering efforts. Some scholars even wonder how did she get a PhD during that time when women weren't receiving college degrees or being encouraged to go into learning at all. So again, welcome. Just wanted to drop that with you. I had a chance to celebrate her life today. And Anna Julia Cooper, if you ever get a chance, as we wind down this Black History Month, uh, Anna Julia Cooper, born in 1859, died 1964, PhD. And I just think that her life, her vision is something we should strive for. When I was going through my journey for my own PhD, I ran into several different barriers. One is no one in my family ever had a PhD before. And so for me, my father was in the military. He had a high school diploma. He had certifications in the military that allowed for him to get promotions, but he did not have a higher ed degree. My mother actually went and got a master's in nursing, so she's an RN, and she also went and became a dental hygienist. So she actually was able to engage in higher ed learning, but she stopped at master's. She's still working on her PhD right now, so I may be joined by my mother soon. But walking through this higher ed journey, when I got my bachelor's, I was good. I really actually felt satisfied. I was working as a teacher. And then somebody encouraged me to get my master's so that I can go and be a principal. So that's really what encouraged me to even go into higher ed further beyond my bachelor's. So I go through higher ed and I do fairly well in my master's program. And I began to enjoy the learning and the reading and the exploration. And then that's what encouraged me to actually stay in that lane of learning and growing. And once I finished my master's, the thirst was on. The thirst was on. I wanted to follow Anna Julia Cooper and get my PhD. And that degree was not incentivized by a job promotion. I just felt that there was more to learn. And so in my PhD program, the barriers that hit you immediately is that the further you go on your learning, the lonelier it gets. So the classroom shrinks, the audience in the class shrinks, the volume of reading increase. But for those of you who are considering higher education, please remember that it's worthwhile, especially just for learning itself. Learning don't have to be attached to salary increase. Learning don't have to be attached to a job promotion. Learning in and of itself can be rewarding. And so I just want to encourage y'all who are first time college students, first generation scholars and leaders, please feel free to explore that, to engage that. Because in my journey, I was the first, and that'll lead me into my top five. So this top five is different today. This is how do you blaze a trail? Okay, when you're in a generation of family members and a generation and a genealogy where no one has ever done this before. How do you blaze that trail? Others, it may be higher ed, going to get your education. Others, it may be starting a business. But how do you blaze a trail? And that's going to be our top five today. Now, I'm excited about it because most of you may already be doing this and not know. You may already be sitting in this lane and not know. So here's our top five. Number one, number one, fear is a part of the journey. Okay, that's the top five in terms of blazing trails. Fear is a part of the journey. Don't avoid a path that's been because of fear. Fear is a part of the journey. Do not allow the fear. Now, the reason why I say that is because oftentimes my tuition, all of that sort of money, paperwork phase of the journey, that was nerve-wracking. Nobody's ever done it. And nobody's never been through this road. So who do I call for advice? I was not surrounded by a family of or a network of people with PhDs. So my fear You want me to start at the top five? It just stopped recording. So I'm just gonna start at the top five because it kicked me out probably back in. So I'm just gonna start back at the top five. That's okay. I'm not sure what happened, but I'm just gonna start right there. So today we have our top five, and I wanna welcome you uh, to the show. All right, we'll cut that. Let me see. Okay. All right, this is Truth with Terrance Ruth. Here's my top five today. And this is all about blazing the trail. Okay. This is all about blazing the trail. Um, One, fear. Fear is a part of a human response to something that's unknown. So do not avoid blazing a new trail for your family, for your genealogy, just because you are afraid. That's going to be a natural response. Fear is something that's going to be, in most cases, unavoidable. Courage is when you blaze through that trail, even though fear exists. So don't avoid going down a new trail if there's fear. So for me, I was afraid of whether I would be capable of finishing a PhD. If I was afraid of not being able to finish the job or opening broadcasting that I want to get a PhD and then I got to finish what I said I was going to start. So public opinion was one big fear. The next fear was just what does it mean? The intimidation of applying for a PhD program. Will my application be accepted? Will I be rejected? Rejection was part of it. So it was fear of rejection. And I didn't want that rejection. So again, there's nowhere to go. I wasn't surrounded by a network of people with PhDs. I wasn't surrounded by families who had higher ed experience. All of this was just me. So top five, number one, fear. Fear is a part of the journey. Do not step out of blazing the trail without thinking that fear will not be present. It will be present. Fear will be present. Okay. Number two of our top five is to learn. Always be a student. So for me, I had to find people who can help me through the journey all throughout my PhD program. Again, I'm blazing a trail for a journey that didn't exist before. So I'm asking questions, I'm asking different people, I'm sitting in rooms just as an ear trying to listen. And so don't be afraid to learn again. Don't allow that to prevent you from engaging in trailblazing a journey. I literally, at this point, I always sit in a position of learning. I always want to learn. I don't care what environment I am in. I don't care what setting I'm in. I always want to be a student. I always want to learn. So number one, fear will be there. Fear will exist. Still push through. Number two, always be a student. Always seek learning. Number three, rejection is part of the story. For anyone that's ever applied for um, anything, a business, a scholarship, a grant, whatever it may be, you're going to get more rejections than you get acceptance. Rejection is a part of the course. And so I just want you to be prepared for that rejection. Some people, if they get rejected one time, this is not for me. I even had that. My mom, everything. My mom is faith driven. So if there's a rejection, the Lord told her not to go down that journey. So some is religious narrative. Some is just a personal confidence. If the rejection comes, they lose confidence. Just know that rejection is a part of the journey. You're going to see and feel rejection. That's going to be a part of your story. Don't allow that to prevent you from blazing a new trail. Number one, fear is going to exist. Number two, always be a student, always learn. Number three, rejection is a part of the story. rejection is a part of the roadmap. Number four is be encouraged. Be encouraged that after you blaze this trail, there's somebody coming after you. After you blaze this trail, there's a group of people that's going to follow you. There's a group of people that path is going to be much easier. So be encouraged by that. Somebody's going to learn from you. Somebody's going to watch your story, watch your steps, and they're going to learn from what you have done, and they're gonna take that road. They're going to follow you. Be encouraged by that. So one, fear will exist. Two, be a student. Three, rejection will be there. Four, be encouraged. And number five, stay committed. The last one on our top five is commitment. Stay committed. Always stay committed to the journey. I started my PhD when my father was diagnosed with cancer. I'm sorry, I started my bachelor's when my father was diagnosed with cancer. I started my when I started my PhD, they were saying he was at the end of his life. And so for me, I wanted to commit to the journey because I wanted him to see me graduate. I wanted him to see me graduate with my PhD. So I knew that I had to stay committed to the pace. I had to stay committed to the journey because I knew that in order for my father to be at my graduation, I had to stick to the course. And sure enough, 2014, at University of Central Florida, my father he's the same day he has a treatment. He has a treatment for his cancer, and I go in and I'm walking down just like everybody knows graduation, the graduation song. I'm going down the graduation song, and I'm walking through that journey. uh, I look in the stands and I see my mom, I see my sibling, but I don't see my father. And this commitment to this journey was for him. And just like a little boy in a little league game, they're preparing to say my name. I look into the stands, and my father is there. So our top five is just a top five of blazing the trail. One, fear is going to be there. Don't think because fear is present you can't take the journey. That's normal. Two, always learn. Be a student of learning. Always be prepared to learn. Three, rejection is a part of the story. I had several rejections for my PhD program. You're going to have several rejections to your business plan, to your application for a home, whatever it may be. You're going to have several, several rejections. But keep the course. You will be fine. Keep the course. And then number four is encourage. Be encouraged. Uh, Despite the fear, despite the rejection, be encouraged. Because people that's going to come after you are going to have an easier life because you took that journey. And then number five, stay committed. I had motivation for my commitment with my father, but I had motivation. All right. So whatever your motivation is, please stay committed to that journey. Stay committed to doing what's right. Stay committed to blazing that trail. Because believe it or not, we are all here because somebody faced fear, continued to learn, fought through rejection, stayed encouraged, and stayed committed. We are here because somebody had to blaze a trail. Eastern North Carolina, you're here because somebody blazed a trail. And so they went through these steps for us. Imagine the Underground Railroad. Imagine Rosa Parks. Imagine, I mean, so many leaders in our history that had to blaze a trail. You have our top five to encourage you to do that. All right. Now, moving on, everyone, moving on to our statewide top issues for Terrance on Truth. Today, I want to touch a little bit on uh, our state. Our state is one of the fastest growing states in the country. We have people moving here left and right. Uh, 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 we have one of the top tech hubs in the state. We have some of the best geographical options. You could be on the beach on the east. You could be in rural farm. You could be in the mountains. You could be in an urban dense area. You have a way in which you can engage and grow in all types of locations. So North Carolina is a place to be, everyone. Everybody wants to be here, period. No matter what race, gender, religion, everybody wants to be in North Carolina. What does that mean for North Carolina? So our housing market, we're filling it in our housing market. So for our housing market, it says that our housing market is one of the uh, most sought after markets in the country, especially in our triangle area. But as people move to the triangle, we're starting to see people span out to Eastern North Carolina. And so you're starting to see the cost of housing increase as well. So you're seeing this balance between the two. And so we got to know that the housing market that we are seeing right now is due to the growth that we're seeing in our state. So the market that we're in North Carolina is really impacted by how attractive our state is. Who are we inheriting? We are inheriting some of the top tech companies. Obviously, y'all may have heard that Google and Apple are building centers here. Disney has a community celebration. They're building a community here. You may have already had a chance to hear that Amazon is expanding all across our state. So we are a state that really we're witnessing tremendous growth, and that growth is requiring more homes. And so statewide, it's just been an alert that our housing market, it used to be certain parts of our state, but now you're starting to see regional hubs pop up across our state. So just for a state highlight, we just want a statewide highlight that our housing market is one of the hottest markets in the area. Now, your question should be, how do we touch this market? How do we engage this market? How do we learn from this market? Well, the first thing, you got to make sure you're paying attention to your county. You got to make sure that you're paying attention to your county uh, uh, housing strategy. And you got to make sure you're paying attention to your local council mayor housing structure. Make sure that you're engaging these two areas, okay? All right, because it is your local council that sets the zoning laws to let you know what type of homes can be built in your community. It is a council and the mayor that determines how dense, which means how many homes can be put together. It is your county, meaning your city and council mayor that determines what rules, what's permitted, and what housing options are permitted in such a hot market that we have in our state. So pay attention to your local city council. They should have a document that's guiding their work, which is called a code of ordinance. And again, I'm not even going to all that. I'm just saying the hot market that you're seeing today, if you want to learn more about what can be built, where it can be built, what's the future of your region and homes in your region, in your city, in your county, make sure you're connected to your city council. The county, like for example, Wake County has their own affordable housing strategy where they're putting dollars into affordable housing. The county is also putting dollars into the public school system. People normally want homes that are next to good schools. And so you start to see the relationship between schools and homes. And so your county and your city both play a role in how hot the housing market is. So for your statewide politics, the encouragement is to look local. Your county and your city has a huge impact on what you will experience in your housing market. So pay attention. Don't fall asleep on your city and county elections. Keep your eyes wide open. All right. Now we want to move right along. Again, that was our statewide highlight. We want to move right on and to a commercial break. And when we get back, we're going to touch base on Eastern North Carolina. We're going to talk a little bit about Eastern North Carolina. And so stay tuned. I'll see you on the other side of this commercial. Everyone. We now are focusing on Eastern Carolina headlines. I want you to know I'm gonna spend this time talking to you about the primaries. Okay. Again, we gotta touch on politics. This is a political year. We gotta touch on politics to some degree. All right. So just so you know, Eastern North Carolina, this is the moment to go and vote. Do not wait till November. All right. Go and vote. You have until March 2nd. Okay. You have until March 2nd to go and vote. Y'all have to get out of your living rooms, get out of your car, go, and you have until March 2nd to go and vote. Time is winding down. All right. We Friday is March 1st. Okay. Friday is March 1st. March 2nd is Saturday. So when you talk about this week, you get a chance to go and early vote. No lines. Okay. I have yet to see a line in early voting. Please go out. Please go out. You can also check the turnouts. Just go to the Wake Board of Elections. Please get out there, vote, vote right now. The primaries are here. Okay. Remember, this year, the ID is important. Okay. You can have your North Carolina driver's license. You can have your state ID from North Carolina DMV. You can have your driver's license or non-driver's driver ID from another state. So again, this could be from another state. All right. You can have your U.S. passport. You can have your North Carolina voter photo ID. You can have college university ID. You can have your state or local government or charter school employee. Remember to go out and vote. Make sure you are okay. Okay. Make sure you get out there and you vote. Again, for Eastern North Carolina, what I have for you today is that early election ends Saturday. Okay, it ends Saturday. Eastern North Carolina, please go to your local library, your local school that has agendas open for voting. You can go on to your county board of elections or your state board of election. They can help you find a poll or an early voting booth that's close to you. You just need your ID. And I covered the IDs before, but please, do you don't want to wait. Voting is all year. Okay. Voting is all year, not just November. All right. Your mantra should be all year vote, vote all year, all year vote, vote all year. Do not wait. Okay. Now, in between March 2nd, this is Saturday, which is what early voting ends, in November, that's when you're going to see intense campaigning. You're going to start seeing campaign signs. All right. So I'm encouraging you to go out there, get out there, vote, join, join the movement of owning your vote again. All right. North Carolina driver's license, a state ID from a DMV, a driver's license or a non-ID from another state, a U.S. passport, North Carolina voter photo ID card, a college university ID, or a charter school employee ID, or a state or local government ID. All of these will allow for you to vote. So Eastern North Carolina, get on out there and vote, yo. This is the time. Do not wait until November. All right. I just wanted to make sure I highlight that for Eastern North Carolina. And thank you again for supporting this station. And with that, I want to I want to jump to something that I think is critical for Eastern North Carolina, and that's the Brookings Institute. They wrote an article that I was intrigued by. I would like to get your thoughts. I would like to get your feedback on this. It's called "Not Closing the School to Prison Pipeline," which I probably have all heard. That's that idea that schools lead to prisons because a high number of kids are suspended from the school system, which starts their sort of quote unquote criminal record early and their engagement with law enforcement early while in school. Instead of saying close the school to prison pipeline, there's a article from the Brookings Institute that said closing the Black employer gap. The Black employer gap. Insights from the latest data on Black-owned businesses. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I would love to know and hear about your experiences uh, with owning businesses. Now, my mom has owned a Bible bookstore. My mom has owned uh, not just a Bible bookstore, but she has owned she has uh, run uh, a nail salon. She has run a beauty salon. I've literally saw my mom launch small companies, and to me, her work has been tremendous. And I am completely impressed with her work. I'm completely impressed with her giving me that example early. But it says throughout. Now that's what my example. So I had a chance to see a small business owner growing up, but some people have never had that opportunity. And so when we get back from this break, I want to share a little bit about uh, the Black-owned business support that the Brookings Institute article touched on. So join me back, and when we talk about small business and Black-owned business, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side of this commercial. Take care, y'all. Hello? Hello? Am I good on sound? Hello, hello, hello. Testing, testing. Testing 1, 2, testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. All right, here we go. All right. So I'm just gonna hop in as if I'm coming back from break. That's cool. Because I think when I went out, I was on break, I think. All right, so I'm just gonna get rolling. Okay. All right, so welcome back from that break, and again you're on the Truth with Terrance Ruth, and I gave you a little snapshot of my mom's business ventures. But usually when we talk about Black businesses, we're talking about um, somebody's side hustle. Normally you think about that or somebody, but usually we very rarely think of Black businesses as employers, and so I want to pivot us to that point. There was this research that really moved us into what does it mean to have more than just one employee. So the number of Black-owned employer businesses, that means somebody that has started a company. I don't care if it's a barbershop. I don't care if it's a corner store. I don't care if it's a massage parlor, whatever it is. You become an employer when you have more than one employee. Okay. So my mom, even though she had a business, she had us. I'm one of six, so she had us. So we were her employees. But for some individuals, they are able to pick up one or two or three employees. They become a small business owner. And so they said the number of Black owned employer businesses, that means you've hired somebody, increased by 14% in the prior year. And it says, according to the report that goes out annually, the number of Black-owned employer businesses grew consecutively from 2017 to 2021. That means each year, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2021, you're starting to see more businesses hire people. And Black-owned employer businesses had the highest percentage increase in employees, 7%. And most people don't even think of Black businesses that way. They think of like a smaller one, with revenue increase of 30% and a payroll of 27% in 2021 compared to white, Asian, Latino, Hispanic, Native American employer businesses. So, I mean, I want y'all to hear that, okay? Black-owned employer businesses had the highest percentage increase in employees, 70%, revenue, 30%, and payroll, 27% in 2021 compared to white, Asian American, Latino, or Hispanic or and Native American employer businesses. All right. So again, it's good. It's blowing your mind. This is a national report. Okay. This is a national report. And so it's good to see things like this where you're seeing where not only are you having the birth of Black businesses, but you're actually seeing them take on and become employers of others. But even with that growth, even with that increase, steady increase, 7% employees, 30% revenue, 27% payroll, the overall share of Black-owned employer businesses in the country remain disproportionately low, rather relative to their to the Black sort of U.S. population and their share of the population. All right, so I'm just telling you, it's 2017 to 2021. All right, Black-owned employer businesses had the highest percentage increase. Okay, some of y'all just think of Black business here and there, but you're talking about the highest increase. Okay, and employees, 7% revenue, 30% payroll, 27%. That's unbelievable. Now, mind you, for those of y'all who need to go back in history a little bit, we're 4 years removed from 2020, 2021, when you have a movement of a celebration of blackness, really. We had Black Lives Matter really at its height. You had Black Lives Matter content, narrative. You had equity programs in every company. Every company launched an equity fund or some of that nature. You really saw federal dollars go out in PPP loans. We lived through a season where this would make sense in 2020, but this report says all the way back in 2017. So we're watching, y'all, this dynamic where we're seeing Black businesses, Black-owned businesses become Black employers. But even with that, we still are low relative to our share of the US population. In 2021, Black Americans represented 2.7% of employers, 2.7%, and yet made up 14.4% of the population. All right, so that means we're at 14%. We are 14.5% of the US population, but we only make up 2.7% of employers. I'm not just talking about, like most people just talk about launching your own business. That's wonderful. I think that's amazing. But this is talking about once you launch, you mature enough to actually hire somebody, bring somebody on to your business. That number is still low, 2.7%. Okay, 2.7%. Compared to white Americans who own 82% of employer businesses. 82% of employer businesses. 82. All right. So again, we like to talk about owning your own business, but I want to encourage you to start talking about becoming an employer. An employer. But even if Black business ownership continued to grow at the rate it did in 2021, which was amazing, we topped the charts. I just shared it. The largest percentage increase in 2017, but Black-owned businesses would still not reach a parity with their population share. In other words, even if we continue this growth, we still it would take 80 years for us to reach our population share. So we're 14% of the US population. It will take 80 years, yo. 80 years. That means my son will be 80 years old. My son who is in elementary school will be 80 something years old. 89 years old. Think about that, okay? Think about that. Now, assume that we needed all the Black businesses to become employers. What would that number be in our country? It said that we would need 682,000 Black-owned business or Black-owned employer businesses to meet our mark. 682,000 Black-owned employer businesses to equal the share of Black individuals in 2021. That's how many Black-owned employer businesses. That means this business has hired someone. Hey, y'all, we got some work to do. Remember our top five. Our top five said, don't let fear get in the way. So once you launch your business, the next phase is how do we then hire someone? Some people, you're going to be the first one to own a business. You're going to be the first one to launch into a business. But remember, you're taking the road that your generation behind you is going to share and be proud of and going to follow. It's going to make it easier for somebody else. So Eastern North Carolina, I just wanted to share that with you. Not just Black-owned businesses, but Black employers, Black business employers. I wanted to just share that with you just a little bit. All right. Now on further news, I just wanted to walk us through the news that came out. I think it was this week. This week we found out that the historic St. Paul University, St. Augustine University in Raleigh, has officially lost its accreditation. It has officially lost, and so there's so many articles coming out. There's some parents asking questions as to would their kids get financial aid. There are some parents asking, will the semester, will the kid make it through the semester? There's some alumni asking, what value should they expect on the degree that they have? You have some faculty that still have yet to get paid, I believe, by the latest reports. I would love to get your feedback on St. On. St. On and several HBCUs are wrestling with this season in which higher ed is trying to survive. I think the trend across the whole country for higher education is that many of them are seeing decline in enrollment. But for the HBCUs who had a very niche market, it's hitting very hard. But this one didn't have to do with enrollment. This was more around accreditation. Once you lose your accreditation, to my understanding, I believe it impacts the amount of dollars you can get from the federal government and the students can get from the federal government to attend your school. And so for those of you who are alumni, for those of you who are currently employed at St. Aug, for those of you who understand the rich history of St. Augustine in the Triangle, these are difficult times. They have a new president. It's been a wave of support trying to get some attention and focus around the university, but we all send our best wishes to St. Augustine that they can get through this difficult season. It's a very tough place to be, and I know that they have good leadership that's trying to make a difference. And so, for those of you who understand St. Aug, know the story, know the history, have family heritage, and some of our early legacy Black leaders were educated from St. Aug. Actually, Miss Anna Cooper, when I mentioned earlier, she was an alumni of St. Augustine University. So those of you who've been watching the news, just keep me your thoughts. They're having all hands on deck to really try to address some of their difficulties today. All right. So that was our news there in Raleigh in the Triangle. And now I want to pivot to a shout out. This shout out is going to go to Father Taylor. Father Taylor is one of the historic leaders of St. Ambrose. St. Ambrose, one of the earliest Black churches in the state. It's had 3 locations. It's held one of the earliest schools for African Americans. It has a tremendous rich history of alumni from Shaw and St. Aug. St. Ambrose is being led currently by a dynamic leader who has a rich understanding of history and a rich understanding of contemporary issues, of recent issues, and that's Father Taylor, Father G-Mon Taylor. G-Mon Taylor is doing everything from affordable housing to green gardens to Black history. I mean, I could keep going, but just such a dynamic leader. Absolutely respect the work that he does. But Father Taylor, we thank you for the work that you're doing. We thank you for the work that you're doing across the community. We thank you for the history that you're holding and sharing and uplifting in our state. And so my shout out today goes to Father G-Mon Taylor. Thank you for your work. We're all humbly grateful for what you do. All right. Now I want to go to sports, and I want to focus a little bit on Little League. My son just finished a county wide basketball league, and he's getting a little bit serious about basketball, and so he's thinking about AAU. He's thinking about some of the other opportunities there are. But he's 9. He's 9 years old. His birthday is next week, so he would say 9.5. Even though that's theoretically wrong. He would say 9.5. He would say 9.5. But just want to get your thoughts on what's the next step for a kid who has zoomed into basketball, and basketball is now moving beyond just little league. Do y'all recommend he play for AU team? Do y'all recommend that he get a private coach? Do y'all recommend that he wait until middle school and play in a middle school team? So some of the schools have their own team. They travel, they play. But would love to get your thoughts. It's you have different views on AAU. You have some people that said, man, AAU is necessary if you want to be ranked, if you want to have a career in basketball, and you want to do AAU, you want to travel that circuit. The late Kobe Bryant actually said that AAU was hurting kids, not physically, but their intelligence around the game. It was making it more of a showboat highlight film rather than the fundamentals. So I would love to get your thoughts. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that AAU is the next step for kids who are trying to grow beyond the county league or the city league or the local park league? Or do you think they should wait until they join a school and become a player for their school district? So just want to pick your brain, get your thoughts on that. Again, my son is 9, and we have we have a big choice coming up. Do we put our son at AAU or do we change that? So with that, that brings us to our top 5. And I'm gonna stay on this until early voting is over. Okay, I'm gonna stay on this until early voting is over. Okay, number 5. Number 5. Today marks the final week of early voting. It marks the final week of early voting. Saturday, it's done. Okay. So please go and get out and vote. Okay. All right. Go vote. Yes. Vote. Vote early. Vote often. Today marks the last week. Number 4, not just the last week, but early voting ends March 2nd. I'm gonna give you the exact date. February went by fast, okay? I remember sharing with y'all that early voting started, all right? It went by fast, all right? Please, everybody, voting matters. If you care about owning your home so that this growth that's coming into our state can benefit you financially, go vote. If you care about growing your business and wanting to be an employer, go vote. If you want to make sure that your neighborhood is an attractive neighborhood by having some of the top schools, go vote. All right. All right. Vote early, vote often. Number 3, you will need an ID this year. Okay. Don't forget your ID. Don't forget your ID at home. You're going to need your ID. All right. Again, driver's license, state ID, driver's license from another state, or a state ID from another state. A U.S. passport can work. A passport card can work. You can also have just your North Carolina voter ID card. That will work. You can have a college university ID. That will work. You can have a government ID. That will work. You can have a charter school employee ID. That will work. But please, please, please go out and vote. Number 2, know who you're voting for. Visit their website. Go to the North Carolina State Board of Elections. See what the rules are. See what the games are. Again, the people at the polls are nice. They actually are. They're actually nice. I don't run into too many people with attitudes at the polls. I run into some amazing human beings. Will this be an intense election? Yes. Will you run into some? Well, is there a possibility you can run into somebody who's having a rough day? Yes. But from a person who votes all the time and volunteer at the polls all the time, you're gonna more than likely run into a kind person. All right, very last one. Number 1, our countdown. Number 1, become active in some group, NAACP, Democratic Party, whatever party. Uh, just be active. Join a precinct. Precinct is how the parties sort of reduce the size so that it could be localized to a certain region of your city or town or county. But man, be active, participate, engage. Okay. Don't sit at home. Go and be engaged. All right. Now, I can't wait to join you again. This was just an amazing episode. Remember, remember, people are coming here because we are a popular state, which means that you need to carve in your space right now. Either that be your home or your business where you become an employer, and also to vote to make sure that the laws that are here reflect the people who are here and not just the people who are just moving here. All right. So get out the vote. Stay tuned. Thank you for supporting our show. Again, The Truth with Terrance Ruth. It's always a pleasure to be here with you. Please join me again. I look forward to hearing from you. Please send any questions. If you have any topics you want us to discuss, please send it as well. See you next time. The Truth by Terrance Ruth. Take care, everybody.
Of misconduct by the